Okay, everyone. Here we go. In today's Tanya, it's actually my favorite parak of Tanya. I think it's the most important to me. Mahayoim Yoim is Vav Tishrei was when I was born, which is the concept of Teshuvah with the letter Vav. The Rebbe goes in Hayoim Yoim and gives a letter for every day of a route of doing Teshuvah, and my Hayoim Yoim is Teshuvah through Avas Yisrael. So Parak Lamed Beis, I think Avas Yisrael is a very big part of my journey, and that my neshama came into this world to do, and I think every yid we're going to learn is it's the side of everything. It's the root to the entire Torah. So we were going into happiness. The Alter Rebbe said that in order for someone to be happy every minute of their life, they cannot be bound to the tendencies of their body. And the body, we include the brain, right? The health of the body's constantly changing. Always changing. The body's always changing. And therefore, if I'm going to be identified with my body, I'm going to be constantly changing with mood swings all the time. Which, okay, we are bound to the conditioning of our mind in a certain way. That's why we have to think good in order to experience goodness. And we have to feel good in our body, eat healthy in order to feel gesund. But at the same time, happiness cannot be bound to the limits of the body. The body will always, the soul of the body, the animalistic soul, is always seeking self-security. It's based off self, which for that reason, it's always going to feel somewhat threatened, unfulfilled. And so the Alter Rebbe said that in order to experience happiness, we have to identify with our nefesh. So now once he went into explaining that happiness comes, and we explained this yesterday, I'm not going to get into it, let's focus forward. Now that we're identifying with the heart, with the heart, I mean the Yiddish hearts, the nefesh halakis, the godly soul, what's going to come from this is true love to another fellow. That's another quote-unquote side effect or primary effect that we get through being connected with our nefesh halakis. He says like this, through this that he sees his body with scorn and contempt, he writes here in English. Meaning he laughs off the body, right? Focuses on the soul. This is actually now going to also be an easy pathway to enter the loving your fellow as yourself. From everyone around you, from great to not good. By the way, just when you are not experiencing loving your fellow as yourself, it hurts you, meaning it hurts me when I'm not doing it, because I have to walk away. If I'm feeling resentful towards someone, who's suffering? Resentment is, like they say, is that you're poisoning yourself with the poison. You're trying to, you want to try to get him back, but you're eating the poison. Who's the one experiencing all the drama is yourself. So to not love your fellow, who's hurting? I'm hurting. I walk into a gym and I'm not speaking to the guy next to me. Who's hurting? I'm hurting. I'm the one that's, as a human being, we're social species, and therefore if I'm not able to connect with the person next to me, then who's suffering? I'm suffering. So to love your fellow as yourself, migadolat katan, is for you to live the freest life in the world. So in order to do that, you have to, so we have to really get down to it, because it's not your fault. It's not, I'm going to say you the whole time. Let's speak me. It's not my fault that I don't know how to love another fellow. So the Tanya is a doctorate explaining to me how I can love another person as myself. So I don't have to suffer at all times, and I'm able to love and feel constant just oneness and unity on a conscious level without the ayahuasca. So how do we do this? Since his body is despised and loathsome, he will not love himself on account of his body more than he loves his fellow. And as for the soul and spirit, the differences between his own soul and that of his fellow surely will not diminish love between them. For he can know there's the soul, the spirit, greatness and excellence in their source and root, the living God. Okay, let's get to it. So I mentioned the gym. We're just going to go with this gym thing today. So I walk into the gym. I see this kid, like, doing he's working out, looking at his body, and I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I mean, I'm not about. I'm not about that. So, like, how do I love this guy if he's all about something which I have no care for at this point in my life? So let's go into it. First of all, why do I not have care for it, and why does he have care for it? The reason why he has care for it and I don't is because where his body is holding right now, his animalistic soul is holding, it's demanding of him to care about his body. My animalistic soul at this point in my life, because I did that for 5 years, is holding at something else. So if I'm able to shed free of the body, the soul that's continuous throughout, he's 18, I'm 28. So the soul that's continuous from our whole life, his soul, my soul, if I identify with the nefesh kiss, the Knesset Yisrael, that is one. There's no difference between us. Absolutely zero difference. We got to take this in. So in order for me to love another fellow, I have to recognize that I don't know anything. And that this person's soul, his identity, has nothing to do with anything that I'm seeing right now from him standing next to him. So if I can truly love him, it's because he is a soul that has nothing to do, that itself is exiled in what his activity is, just like my soul's exiled in my craziness. Furthermore, they are actually all equal, the soul. And not all equal yet separate, but furthermore, they all have one father, one source, and within their source, they all comprise one entity. That's why we're all considered brethren. Because of our sherish in Hashem Echad. Our bodies are distinct from each other. Sorry for the clogged up nose today in our Tanya. It happens. See me for my soul here. My soul doesn't have a cold. Therefore, there can be no true love and fraternity, he writes here, between those who regard their bodies as primary and their soul secondary, but only a love based on an external factor. Avas Yisrael, you see a person who gets along with everyone. Why is it? So, first of all, I'm someone in my personal life that I was able to get along with everyone. I never had a problem with that. If you're moving, I can be your best friend. So that can come from two things. That can come because I can be like a chameleon, that I know how to play always the new. I'm a master artist that can just like adapt to the social cue that's going on next to me and become a part of it. That's one way, right? Which I'm good at that. But there's another part. Is that I don't care for where their mentality, personality is holding. I just love you because you're a fellow soul. How can I not love you? I see you for your soul. If you start living from that place as the soul, it's all freedom. It's all freedom. Anytime I'm getting worked up, what's this guy's problem? What's that guy's problem? What's your problem? I have something that he doesn't have, where he's holding it now. See him for his soul. See him for his soul. This is in order to free myself, not him. I want to be able to walk earth and feel love and connection wherever I am. This is the way to do it. This is what Hillel, the elder, said, like this. He said to someone that came to him and said, teach me the Tanya, teach me the whole Torah on one foot. I'm sure if the Alter, if the Tanya was taught on one foot, it would also be this line. The one line of Tanya is Kikar Ve'elecha Davar Mai. Okay, let's not get caught away. So this is the entire Torah. The rest is but commentary. He said, and the Beis Hillel said to this person that said to teach me the Torah on one foot. He said the whole Torah is V'ahavta Le'acha Kamecha, and he said the rest is just commentary. Now we can understand why this is like this. This is the most beautiful words ever. Let's read this again. The basis and root purpose of the entire Torah is in order to lift up and exalt the soul to be primary importance ala guf. The source and root of all the worlds is Hashem. The soul of Hashem should be of primary importance over the body. And also in order to draw down the light, the infinite light, into Knesset Yisrael, which is our soul. Like we'll explain later, that the soul, our souls, are sparks should become one with like a flame clinging to be always part of its source. The flame of a fire is always going up and wants to, it's cleaving to where it returned to. That is its identity. The nefesh within us just wants to be a part of where it came from. That's all it wants. So our work, Torah, was given to us to give us a oxygen tank for us to be able to have where we've come from and to connect the physical realm to be able to be utilized for our soul to connect to its source, which the neshama receives in aliyah through doing that here on earth. But when there's a separation, when we're feeling separate from the yid next to us, then what happens is the Eivishter Shechina, which is really all we want, cannot rest upon us because there's separation. When there's separation, the Eivishter doesn't know separation. The Eivishter only knows unity. That the Eivishter blesses us all together, and we know that Hasidic interpretation is that the Eivishter's blessing comes through us being all together. So guys, in closing of today's Tanya, this is unbelievable fire. I challenge each one of us to, when we confront a situation of people that we are feeling judgmental of, to take a moment and free ourselves by recognizing that this person is literally you. Ramendel Futterfass would say that, I think I heard it in his name, is that we all, we have a problem. Like if someone got, if someone, okay, we'll share it. Tanya share. But if someone urinates on himself, if someone let's by mistake, gets caught within, it drips on his underpants. There's no issue with that. When it comes to someone else's pish, that's when you're like, I can't. I would never go 5 feet from it. So the Ramendel Futterfass, again, I'm hearing it in his name. I don't know if this is whatever. The idea is this concept that I relate to, is that we're so inhabited to ourselves that when it comes to the actual like germs, there's no difference. But if it's mine, I have no problem. If someone else's, I have a problem. So we need to recognize that we're all one. And the way we can experience that is through the soul. Focus on the soul of that individual. Does his soul have anything to do with what he's doing that upsets you? No. That soul is lively inside that person. And in fact, we are, spiritual beings living through a body. That's what we are. So let's start identifying with the wet part of the ocean, which is spirituality.